Hi. um, I didn't think I had to make this video, but I just made it on a whim. Um, or making it on a whim, I don't know. So, I have been depressed, I've been fucking depressed for like fucking what, 3 years now? And it's only gone worse. Whatever, don't fucking cry in the comments about it. I'm not talking about that. But, and this isn't the main reason as to why I'm depressed. But the thing, one of the things is making me more depressed than I normally am, is the fucking place that I live in. And look, people are gonna come crying in the comments about, oh, you live in Australia, what's fucking the best country in the world? I would go live there too. It's like, yeah, you're American, you live in a shithole right now. That's fair. I wouldn't want to live in America right now. I'd rather live here for the rest of my life than live in America once, and I'm not even kidding about that. Or I was gonna say or the UK. I feel like the UK is like 1% better than the US right now, but I still wouldn't live there. I think the UK is fucking disgusting. I hate the UK. I hope the UK explodes. I hope the UK has like a 28 days later thing and no one is able to go there ever again. Anyway, this is not about the UK, and I don't know enough about the UK to make a fucking full judgment about it. I'm talking about the country that I live in, right? I live in. And look, this is so gay. So, like what? Last year, I was chilling out in my room. I was probably watching fucking Joel. And, for those who didn't know, fucking Joel's a Swedish man. I didn't really care about Sweden that much until I started watching him. I was like, oh, he seems very joyous and happy about where he comes from. And I guess for my whole life, I thought anyone who was joyous and happy and proud for what country they came from was a fucking idiot, because I'm not proud of my country. I haven't met anyone here who's proud of their country, and anyone who is an idiot, because they're a bogan, quote unquote. That's what it's called. It's basically the Australian version of it, like a redneck. Except, I don't know, rednecks are on crack and beating their wives all the time, but maybe the beating the wives thing is the thing. Probably the beating their wives, but usually they're on drugs. Usually they're out fucking yelling at people and getting caught by the police and being thrown in jail. Anyway, whereas a redneck is just farming and beating his wife, maybe. Anyway, I was watching him and I was like, oh, he seems so proud of his country. That's cool. And then I was like, I kind of had this like fucking big like brain, you know, the video of the guy going in the brain and the brain as a fart. Like that was what I kind of had. I was like wait a minute, I don't like living here, and I've never liked living here at all, ever. My entire life I've never liked living here, and isn't that crazy? And I kind of always knew that, but I don't know. I guess I thought it was normal, and that everyone hated it. Everyone hated the country they came from. And then I started researching, and researching, and researching, and researching, and researching. And I came to the conclusion that not only do I hate it here, I want to move fucking immediately. As soon as I can. As soon as I've finished my personal checklist of things I need to do. I got so schizo about it, I wrote in this unicorn booklet thing. This looks like a shit on it. What the fuck? That is not shit. That's dirt. Anyway, I just it's written in this unicorn book and about like everything I looked up, and I probably should write in it more because it's got like quarter and a half, like half and a quarter of fucking pages left. I don't even remember what I read in here. So I know Reddit isn't a good source of information, like, you know, research-wise, in a way. But in my opinion, if you want to get, like, outside a source on what people think about certain things, even if, like, you think, oh, that's not fully true, like, there's gonna be people that are gonna say, like, oh, I experienced this and this and that, and it's true. Because it's online forums and shit. So, I consulted with Reddit. I didn't ask anyone on Reddit, I just looked up random shit. And, this is stuff that I wrote down, from people. I don't know who the users are, but you can probably find them if you're curious and also looking up stuff too. This is according to the internet, so, quote unquote, the lack of anything cultural, that's a major thing. Anyone with talent leaves Australia, so we're stuck with sport as something culturally significant. So, that's very true. I've never felt in touch with Australian culture, and maybe that's partly because my parents also, to a degree, never felt fully in touch. My dad isn't German, but he's fluent in German. He took my whole family to Germany for a year when I was young. He knows a lot about German culture. He fucking does his whole job basically revolves around Germany. And in a way, I feel more connected to German culture than I do Australian culture, and that's insane because I've only went there once when I was 4 and remember nothing. The fact that I am not even from there, none of my family is from there, and I still feel more of a comforting, nice connection than living here is actual insanity. Like, oh my fucking god. And when I was starting to think about all this, I was like, what do I actually like about living here? Like, what are the, not like the obvious stuff that's like, oh, because every time I brought up, oh, I wish I could go live somewhere else, they'll be like, well, we're the luckiest country, we're such a lucky country, you know, we don't fucking live in North Korea land, we have free healthcare, we have this, we have that, we have this, we have that, you know. I'm like, yes, like, if you're from Afghanistan or something, this is gonna be immensely better than living there, and I would rather live here than Afghanistan. That's true, we are lucky to a degree, but being lucky isn't the same as being good, I guess. I mean, I guess it can be in the fucking dictionary, but like, being lucky for where we are and for how our country is compared to the ones that are horrible and shit isn't good, because can't we be better? Just sitting on your ass and saying, oh, well, you know, we don't have to do anything, we're fine, you know, we're not North Korea, we're not America, we're not Afghanistan, we're not Iraq, we're not like any place like that, we're lucky. I'm like, yeah, but could we be good? Could we be better? Considering that we are the place that a lot of immigrants go to for help, could we be better? Speaking of immigrants, that's a horrible sentence starter, but I suppose it's gonna go somewhere. Like I said, we are kind of the #1 emergency immigrant country to go to because we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, we are, I guess, boatable distance from certain countries to get there and seek asylum. That's true. How do we treat our immigrants? There was a story I read when I was younger by one of our teachers. I can't remember what it was called, and you can probably look it up, editing me. But basically the whole plot was that this kid and his younger sister lived in Afghanistan or someplace like that. I don't remember a whole lot of it besides like the start, the middle, and the end, but to say how like horrible it was, his sister was never allowed to play soccer with him because she was a woman. She wasn't even allowed to go outside her house. She wasn't allowed to be taught anything, even by her own mother, who was running an illegal, like, schooling business, basically. And when him and his friends were playing soccer, they stepped on a landmine and almost died. They managed to get out. I can't remember how, but they managed to. They managed to seek refuge in Australia. They managed to seek out a group to take them to Australia. So what did they do? Instead of, taking them to the mainland, putting them through some sort of program, like, I don't know, some sort of program, and then releasing them to the wild. I don't know what you do. I don't know how like actual normal immigration works. But what they did is they sent them to a place similar to Christmas Island, and you can look up what Christmas Island is. It was filled with trash. It was basically a prison for something that they never did, for their only crime, which was seeking refuge and being from another country. Except, for the first time in a long time, they were happy, because this was better, and they were safe. And the staff member who was taking care of them cried and cried and cried, saying that he was sorry, and that he wished he could take him to the mainland of Australia, because this was a horrible shithole. And they were like, it's okay. I never forgot that. And a part of me thought, maybe that isn't even true. And then I looked into it. And I think I wrote it down in here. Yeah, I watched a 60 Minutes Australia 2011 What's Really Going Inside Immigration Detention Centres. This is what some Redditor says.
This is what some Redditor said.
Let me just take a screenshot of that so I can put it in the video. Awful. In theory, it's an okay system, keeping asylum seekers at a centre until they're verified and there's a space. But in practice, the inhumane conditions are just horrible, and the number of people who make it out are very little. I think they're pretty disgusting. A country that has roots in colonization and a massive population of immigrants shouldn't house with such inhumane facilities. Well, that's a big word here, inhumane. Okay, next thing. Drug and alcohol abuse, so that's a big thing. I don't have a big say in it fully. Like, maybe in my area. There's a lot of drug addicts running around the fucking world. And in my opinion, I think it's better for rehabilitation than to shun them and, like, just send them to homes because they're a stain. But there's a lot of drug addicts running around my area. A lot of fent floppers, I guess. Then certain quotes. This one is very long. Terrible history of abuse. Australian history is littered with pedophilia, domestic abuse towards women and children. Sexual assaults are the norm, and now only is it getting attention. I am sick of coming across a story about some sick old Australian male who abused kids. When I was a kid in the 80s in Sydney, these men were just referred to as, quote, dirty old men, quote, and allowed to continue as they please. Another one. Quote, I think one of the biggest issues with our culture is that it's summed up by those who say, if you don't like it, leave. That is a big thing. Oh, it fucking pisses me off. you know, when I have mentioned to people that I don't like living here, it is brought up with we are better on, and anyone who says otherwise should just go. Well, I mean, not when I brought it up, when I've seen other people bring it up. Blech. It is not even related. Sometimes it's not even fully related to, like, just Australia alone. A lot of it, you know, I've always heard the one big Australian phrase is, "Oh, she'll be right," or "He'll be right," "He'll be fine." It's a big thing in culture to just ignore. Maybe it's a big thing in other cultures too, but I don't know. Anyway. Reliance on China. Cannot say anything about that, don't know enough. But I put it there because, you know. Quote, I hate our government. I hate most people. I hate the prices keep going up. I hate oh my god. I hate everything here is driven by greed. I hate the rules imposed upon us. The reason why I made this video, or I'm going to make this video, is because while on the bus today, I saw a post by someone I follow who was like, it was the caption or something was like, oh, thanks a lot, Australian government, for protecting me, a 21-year-old child, from the dangers of the internet. And it was like a censored image, a censored Twitter image, and it was like your government does not allow you to look at images under the age of 16 or something. And then the person like logged in or whatever, and the image was just like a fucking photo of like a cat and a dog, like a drawing. And that like kind of refilled the anger I felt, because to me because if you're not aware, our government has imposed a like quote internet rule where, oh, if you're not allowed to be on the internet if you're under the age of 16, which doesn't sound so bad. Like, in my opinion, even though I was on the internet when I was like literally 5 years old, I don't think that it's a horrible idea. The thing is, these types of laws are covered to quote-unquote protect children, when really, and I say this with the utmost truth in my heart, it is about control. It is about control. It is about the feeling to need to control. I can't see this protecting children, and I don't think it will protect children, because what the fuck? Someone I know is 14 years old and they have had no repercussions. You know why? Because every child has been taught to make their age never stated, make their age never been like true online on any account. When I was like 12, I learnt to never put my age on any account. I'm like 36 on some accounts because I put like 1987 or some shit. I learnt to never do that. And as a government, if you want to impose a law correctly, you should, I don't know, like, fucking think about it once. But no, it's just to make yourself look good at best. And at worst, it's to strike control. And that's all I can think about. That's the thing that brings it all together. That's what I think is the embodiment of what our country is. A sad, pathetic attempt that leads to nothing. A good intention that falls flat because everyone involved is a fat, retarded, fucking troglodyte who doesn't know jack and is too lazy to care. That is what I think. Now, another thing. Oh god. Another thing that I did it's kind of not in like the internet sphere. But another thing that we did, oh my god, there's a few things we actually did that also showed that same thing. But I'll talk about one of the recent ones. The other recent one is the machete ban. Machete. Machete. The knife thing. You know the knife that Sniper holds in TF2? That's the one. They're banning that. Oh no. That, okay, again, that's not a terrible idea, because we haven't delegalized guns, but we've made it so that you need to have like permit, like unless you're like a farmer or a police officer or something like that, you can't own one, and you just show evidence to have one. But it's pretty hard to get one. I mean, sorry, still it's pretty easy to get one, seeing how many fucking shootings there have been recently. You know, that's kind of insane. Anyway, so the government has moved to banning machetes because, I don't know, we're turning into the UK with our knife stabbings, but that isn't a bad idea. That isn't a bad idea. That's, like I said, isn't a bad idea. You know what was a bad idea? Spending $1 billion on like 5 metal trash can bins things. I need to actually look it up. How much money did they fucking spend on, like, what, 5? Hang on. No matter how much money they spent, whether it was $4,000 each bin and $13 million on advertising or news awareness or some shit, it doesn't matter, because they are dumb and they decided, you know what's a good place that a criminal or someone owning a machete who has probably committed crimes would want to put a machete that they have illegally owned into a bin, even if the police say that putting it in a bin would lead to no consequences. Where do you think they put the fucking bins? Right outside every single police station with cameras. What any criminal with like negative 50 IQ would know to not do that. That is so dumb. You are so dumb, and I can't believe it. I genuinely cannot believe it. But you know what's even more dumb? The thing that we did in 2007 and 2013. So, it is famously known how bad our internet is. Famously known. And you know what's even funnier? Is that we invented the internet to a degree. I think we made Wi-Fi, or like made the concept of Wi-Fi and then transferred it. I don't know the full history. Anyway, we made the internet. We have the worst internet, or not the worst, but we have probably really shit slow internet compared to a lot of other countries. The main reason being, and I thought for years that it was because of the distance. I don't know why. I thought there was like a big thing, like the closer you are to most countries and the better your internet would be. I don't think that it's how it works, but that wasn't the reason. The reason is that we still have copper wiring for internet rather than fiber wiring. And that's weird, you know, because we are a third world country, we can afford that. We can afford that. But here's what happened. In late 2000s, early 2010s, there was going to be a big project to replace all of them. Replace all the copper networks with the fiber networks. It was going to be very expensive, but definitely going to be worth it. Then some political shit happened, and political team got swapped around with a team that didn't agree with it, didn't want to go with it, but still carried it out just in a weird other way. So they got Telstra to replace it and spend the billions of dollars replacing it. That doesn't sound too bad. You don't know what they replaced the copper wiring with? They didn't replace it with fiber, that's for sure. They replaced it with copper. They spent billions, I need to emphasize this, billions, replacing the copper wirings with fiber. Sorry, not with fiber. I wish it was with fiber. With copper. Replacing copper with copper. How does that work? Reused copper. Fucking, that is insane. That's why internet is so bad. At least Germany has like a better, not a better, but like at least Germany has a better, more flat out excuse as to why their internet doesn't work, which is that their government said that the internet's a passing fad and they can't be bothered to replace it. At least they didn't waste money. We wasted billions on this shit and I cannot believe it. Anyway, moving on. The rest of it's kind of on this page is kind of small. We've got traveling abroad is expensive, which isn't the worst problem in the world, but whatever. Traveling within country is expensive. I can't emphasize how big Australia is, and I also can't emphasize how little of Australia is populated. Put a like a big map on like the Australian population, and see how like there's a fucking desolate land in the middle that no one lives in. It's not that it's unlivable, it's just that we are too white to bother, I guess. Indigenous genocide and racism. Yes. Big thing. To a degree, we have, like, are trying to fix it, but the truth is that we came here and the land that we live on is stolen. And not only that, but we did try and fucking like obliterate indigenous people. One of the oldest like cultures ever, by the way, like 50,000 years old that they can be traced back. We tried obliterating that by basically breeding them out. It's a big history thing. I'm not sure if whatever happened to Native Americans probably happened to Australian Aboriginals. But I know one thing that we did was we would steal them from their biological families and replace them in white ones. And then it was expected that they would marry and give birth with a white person. So then, you know, after years and years, they would be basically all the black in them would be gone and replaced with pure good whiteness. That isn't, you know, the genocide that most people think it is, but by definition, it's genocide. And at least we apologized for it, but you can't, you know, forget that. And I can't say a whole lot about what I think because, I mean, I guess I can, but like, I can't say a whole lot on like personal wise and stuff because I am not Aboriginal. I am a stupid white guy who's been whiting it out all the time. But my personal thing, I guess, is that it saddens me because I feel like I've never been connected to this country, like, nature-wise. And the people who are, truly, are seeing it become something that it was never supposed to be. And that makes me sad. I feel like if I was Aboriginal, I would give, you know, a chance to look around and be like, wow, this is so cool. But I'm not. I don't have any connection to this place. To be honest, I don't have any connection to any place, but for some reason, this country feels like I'm the least connected to it. And I went to Japan for fucking Christ's sake. I felt more connected in the mountains of Hakuba than any place here. Okay, here's some more Redditor comments that I wrote down. The state of Oz is appalling. Oz has demonstrated that the only thing the state of Oz is appalling. Oz has demonstrated the only thing that matters is the rich getting richer. Oh shit, I just remember this now. Hey guys, did you know that they tried installing a fucking Trump Tower? Or they're trying to install a Trump Tower in Sydney? It hasn't fully been talked about a lot, I guess, because people don't know or care. I mean, when I saw it, I was really angry because, you know, we've literally condemned the Trump administration so many times, and yet some fucking jackass is trying to build a tower that's supporting a pedophile across the world. And I don't understand. Also, I low-key, dude, I'm not even joking, I had a thing in my, like, when I saw that, I was like, the guy who's building this has to be fucking part of the Epstein files. I thought, I don't know, maybe this is probably way too out of my scope, but I was like, this is gonna be Epstein 2. This is gonna be Little St. James, the Squeakquel, because, like, even though it's in Sydney, it's a private resort. I'm like, and it's a Trump Tower. You know, he needs his new outlet. And he's like, and Trump's like,
What's another country that is? What's another country that's basically an island and where I don't get to see any black people? What about that dang old Australia, huh? I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna go molest a bunch of little kids. Again, my buddy old Jeffy Eppy here is not gonna be able to see it, but oh well. Sucks for him, I guess. Lol. Anyway, time to rape a bunch of children.
I feel like it's a big thing for people outside of Australia, you know, especially Americans, to be like, wow, it's like they imagine big beaches and, you know, palm trees and guys with sunglasses and, you know, living la vida loca. I don't even know what that means. It's like, but they go on, you know, the summer lifestyle all year round. It's not that. You know what you do see when you come to a major city here? Drug addicts, you know, people fucking preaching about how if you're gay you're gonna go to hell. That's what I saw in Sydney. Like, shitty internet, fucking the price of things being like $50 billion. Like, it is not a tropical location. I can't emphasize how much it isn't. And I don't want to, dude, as an Australian, you know the biggest beach here is like Bondi Beach? I never want to go there. I was in Sydney and my grandma was like, do you want to go to Bondi Beach? And I was like, no. One, I hate beaches. Two, I don't want to go there because that's scary. But they have a whole show on like Bondi Beach Rescue. They have a whole show where people like choking to death and getting bit by stingrays and sharks. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go there. I never want to go there. Anyway, next one isn't a Reddit comment, but it's something that someone told me about. My uncle spent his whole life with his 2 girls saving up for a home. He could only get a shack. It was $800,000. Cost of living is bad everywhere. Inflation is everywhere. House prices are bad everywhere. The thing that is bad though, because to a degree, like, I guess there's not a lot that everyone can do, but the problem is that our country isn't fucking doing anything about it. And you know what they're doing instead? They're imposing internet laws. Thank you, Australia. Thank you. Thank you for imposing a perfect law that is doing everything to protect our young, precious children and not fixing, you know, the fucking everything else that we have. and not fixing the cost of living issues that you've sweared every single month. We'll fix it, we'll fix it, we'll fix it, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that, and nothing changes. I have seen nothing change. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Nothing will change, and I will not accept this. Everyone has an insecurity about Australia being the best country in the world. And if you even utter a word against it, people will lose their minds. My grandma. That was me adding it in there, not them. I think I wrote a little bit more in like my research part. I got drug abuse / any abuse. According to 2022 to 2023 NDSHS, an estimated 10.2 million, which is nearly half the population, people aged 14 and over in Australia have illicitly used a drug at some point in their life. So, fun factoid, when I was in grade 6, aka I was 11, and most of my peers were either the same age or 12, half the boys in my class, or maybe all of them, had been vaping, which was insanity to me. I feel like there's less people in my class now who vape, and I'm 16, so I don't know how that works. Anyway. Another thing is that there was a big referendum recently. Not even for anything like... I mean, I guess it was major. But it was for having a Aboriginal voice in, like, a government area. And what was it? It was like 80% of the population voted no. That is insanity to me. That's also insanity, like, American, you know... You guys don't have to vote, and a few other countries, you don't have to vote. It is mandatory to vote here. And the fact that 80% of the population said no, just for Aboriginals to have a voice, is insanity to me. Absolute insanity. Actually, no, it wasn't 80%, it was 60%. That's still crazy. I don't care. Okay. I've been sitting on my ass for like 5 minutes, I can't think of anything else to say. There's probably a whole lot more. I hope you guys can enjoy this video of me getting really angry. I'm playing Binding of Isaac really badly, probably. I haven't played it yet. I'll play it, like, I don't know, after this. But, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope any other people can talk about these things. I highly recommend doing research if you're interested in telling me, because I can't be asked also doing research. Anyway, that's my video. I hope you like it. I want to leave this country really bad, and I fucking hate it here. Yay! I hate how hot it is. I know that's such like a boring thing, like, oh, it's really hot. It is hot. I hate it. I hate summer. I hate summer so much. I hate summer. I hope summer explodes. I hate it. Ugh, I hate my birthday in summer. I wish my birthday was in winter like every other country in the freaking world.